where you come from, where you live, and ask your question.
My name is Jan Richter. From a letter to the editor in the Madison Eagle today about a roundup of suspensions and arrests, I fear we are moving in the wrong direction, kicking kids out of school for minor infractions and criminalizing behaviors without thinking through the consequences. So I ask you, given how easy it is to kick a kid out of school these days, what policies would you support to make sure kids are getting the support and services they need to keep them in school and to help them reach graduation with the skills they need to succeed in college or job?
We'll begin with Ms. Johnson.
Well, if it's a matter of potential or actual substance abuse, and that could be drug or alcohol, or perhaps anabolic steroids, I don't know, because I haven't seen a credible survey done of what's going on in these schools. I know people feel that they know what's going on, but I think that before you start really chunking down on kids, you need to think carefully about the impact of every single move that you would make in this area. So I can't help but note that Orange County has a new drug policy. It also has substance abuse counselors on site. And so that's the kind of thing that I would think about providing for kids, people that they felt they could trust, that they could sit down with, that they could confide in, that they could be referred to services outside the school so that they could get the help that they need and not really worry too much about being penalized.
Mr. Boone?
Okay, as far as what we should do about, you said minor infractions. There is a specific policy in place for what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. The students are made aware of that at the beginning of school season. They know the rules, okay? Now, we're not, the school's not out there trying to victimize any student, but when they blatantly break the rules, okay, you're either gonna stand on the rules or you're not. As far as how we improve the situation, what this county probably needs and has needed for a long time is a school social worker. You have a lot of families out there that could use that extra support from a professional.
Mr. Penhall?
Well, I was just going to say that the school already provides a lot of support. School psychologist, coach, what do we call that position? The career coach, or can't remember the exact title of that. Career coach. There are all kinds of things the school's already doing, I think, to address the concern you raised. You know, like Martin, I want to say that there probably are some things for which a kid ought to get kicked out of school. I guess for me, the measure would be, you know, whenever a student's behavior disrupts the educational process for other folk. Now, I do think we've created a problem for ourselves, always wanting to do something about problems and creating all these zero tolerance policies. And to the degree those zero tolerance policies don't allow common sense, we need to re-examine them.
Ms. Jenkins?
First of all, I would like to say that I believe that article was an editorial, and I'm not sure of its accuracy. The investigations on drugs are randomly conducted by the police, the sheriff's department. They do not tell us when they're going to do it. They give the school a very brief warning, so to speak, and say they're going to come. This is mostly done by the community. When drugs are found on a student or on a student's property, then it becomes a school issue. And we take each individual into consideration. There's a discipline committee. There are very specific rules and how this is handled. And yes, we do want every kid to graduate, to have a good education. Sometimes the kid wants to get kicked out of school, and this is a good way to do it. So we have to be careful not to give him exactly what he wants and be sure there's an education for him available.
Mr. Parker?
Didn't have the opportunity to read the newspaper today, but from what I understand, drug possession is not a minor offense, not in the schools, not outside of the schools. So to say that we shouldn't suspend a student for blatant violation of school policy is ludicrous. That's just telling them that, hey, once you get out of school, you can go and break society's policies, and they probably won't put you in jail. So we know that that's probably not the case either. This is a good place for that $10,000 to $20,000 that would be slated for drug testing go into drug intervention and prevention, and maybe to even partially fund that school drug counselor.
Anyone else have a question?